Hunter x Hunter 2011 is my favorite anime of all time. It is also probably my favorite story, as the journey is just so enjoyable due to the well-written characters. You could put them in any situation and what would happen would be interesting and compelling. But I'm not here to talk about the wonderful story and world created by Togashi. I'm here to talk about the visual storytelling of the series. And instead of picking an action-packed scene or a huge moment in the series to talk about the visuals, I'm going to take one of my favorite scenes, which is just a dialogue scene, and break down why the visuals work so well here. The scene I picked is the Gon You Are Light scene from episode 85 of the series. The scene starts with Killua sitting on the bed while Gon is asleep. I first want to identify the light source for the scene, which is the natural light coming through the window. This is a strong key light source that creates harsh shadows on the characters' faces. This is really important since Killua is facing away from it, being backlit. This means for the majority of the scene, his whole face is in shadow, which mirrors the feelings of regret and unworthiness that Killua is feeling at this moment. This light source will become more important in later shots, so keep it in mind. We start on a close-up of Killua to get his reaction to Gon waking up. We then cut to a sort of medium close-up with both Gon and Killua in it, Gon being in the background and Killua being in the foreground. We rack focus from Gon to Killua, putting emphasis on the speaker. Notice how the light shines upon Gon's face while Killua's face is covered in darkness. It's a nice comparison shot to show how different their head spaces are at the moment. The next shot is another close-up of Killua, this time being a profile shot, but his face is covered in so much darkness you can't see his eyes. This is Killua at his most depressed in the scene because he has to confront Gon, so his face is in the most shadow. The next shot is a bird's eye view of the room. This allows us to not only see Gon's action of removing the blanket, but also see exactly how the light hits everything in the room. If you can't tell by now, I really like how the light is used and shaped in the scene. Notice Killua is still facing away from the light. We cut back to Killua to see his depressed state. Then we cut to a close-up of Gon to see him at his most serious in the scene. He really is grateful to Killua for saving them, and showing his straight-face reaction was a good choice by the director. We cut back again to this shot of Killua. He is still at his lowest point in the scene, but that's about to change. The next shot frames Gon and Killua in a close-up. This is good to see both their reactions to what Gon says next. Killua moves his head into frame when he is shocked to hear what Gon says. Killua starts the shot out of focus, but then the focus racks to Killua right at the end. I believe this was done this time because Killua's head is out of focus, and it is only in focus once Gon says this. We cut to a close-up of Killua's shocked eye. We then cut to a wide shot that is outside of the building they are in, looking through the window, as the camera pans up. From this angle, both the characters are in light, even though Killua is still facing away. The camera racks focus on a bluebird on a branch outside the window. Why do that? Well, bluebirds symbolize hope, and this is Gon at his most hopeful and optimistic. He truly does believe Kite is alive. Bluebirds can also symbolize the connection between the living and dead, and spoiler alert, Kite is dead, so you can see it as Kite watching over them. The next shot is a close-up profile of Gon, where you can really see his hope and his smile. We cut back to Killua's eye close-up where he turns his head. Notice how he's surrounded by white shining light in the negative space. The next shot is a medium shot, this time panning to the left. This over-the-shoulder shot of Gon shows that Killua is now staring at him, establishing his eye line, while also showing Gon covered in light from the window. It then cross-dissolves to a close-up of Gon's face, to really show his emotion when saying the line, putting emphasis on that line. He truly believes he will save Kite. It then crossfades to a shot of Killua, staring at Gon, and now that his body is turned, his face is finally covered in light from the window. This shows that Gon has made Killua optimistic and hopeful. We then cut back to the close-up of Gon's face, but now it turns into a watercolor-style painting. Notice how the light becomes warmer and less harsh when it changes to the watercolor painting. I think this shot is showing how Gon really looks versus how Killua sees him. Killua sees him as a warm light source himself, so making him brighter and adding warmth adds to that. But in the next shot, Killua looks away. He knows deep down that Gon is just being optimistic. And though he puts his face back in the darkness, he is smiling now, for he knows deep down the truth is sad and dark, but Gon's hope makes him smile. The next shot is another bird's eye of them in the room, and you see Killua looking away from Gon to match the line said by Killua. The camera slowly pulls back in the shot, which matches the next shot that is outside pulling back. I think this pullback isolates both of them in these shots intentionally to show that they only have each other at this moment. We rack focus to the bluebird, who in the next shot flies into the sunset, ending the scene. I believe the bluebird flying into the sunset represents either false hope because Kite is really dead, or Kite is no longer watching over them, as he believes in them. This scene is so special, and I'm really glad I could break down the visuals of this scene. I think this scene is so dynamic and interesting despite it only being a dialogue scene with no action. It really uses camera angles, lighting, and symbolism to make it visually interesting and dynamic. This scene is one of my favorites because if it was done in any other way, I don't think the impact would be as strong. This could have been a normal, boring talking heads dialogue scene like in many other anime, but instead it became something really extraordinary, and that's thanks to the cinematography of Hunter x Hunter.